Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in to our inaugural episode of Nerdorama? Guys? Nerdorama?
Sure.
Insert nerd title here.
Yeah, there we go. If you can't tell, we were not very good at the whole pre-planning thing, I would say, huh, guys?
Yeah, that's fair.
No.
Preparation's overrated.
Preparation.
I'm good at preparation, but I just also procrastinate.
Is it which preparation is it? Is it H?
Just prepare for trouble.
Oh, no. Make it double. Once again, though, guys, thank you very much for swinging in and tuning in to the inaugural episode. My name is Stacy Krugger. I've been broadcasting for far too many years for my own good. And I decided to talk these crazy guys into deciding to do this thing with me. Because there's been many times I'm a streamer at twitch.tv/Stacy Krugger, and there's been so many times that Rad has come on stream with me, Robbeech, Casual. We've all come on stream, and we discussed awesome, nerderific topics, such as movies, such as comic books, video games, whatever the topic may be. And then we all kind of sat there, and I looked at Robbie and Casual. I was like, guys, it might be good to do this on a podcast instead of just ranting on the stream. So this is our attempt at one, I guess.
Kinda, I guess.
I don't know.
Sounds about right to me.
But yeah, so guys, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? We'll run down the list from top down. Go ahead. Casual. That's your cue.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm casually challenged. I was a streamer fairly regularly with, the typical no viewer count, but due to issues in life and also streaming cards, I don't do that anymore. And basically, I just like to talk nerd crap.
Hello, everyone. I am RadHazard, and I am also a streamer with the requisite 0 viewers. I like information. I like to read about things that interest me, namely video games and comic book movies. Stacy asked me to share, so I am more than glad to share.
Hey, I'm Rob. I'm not a streamer, although I do appear to have some viewers outside my window.
They're just, I know he's recording something on the internet. Better stare at him.
I love comic books. I attempt to make my own comic books with moderate success.
Hey everyone, I'm Undead. I'm not a streamer. I guess you could say I'm a filthy casual in viewing streams.
Thought I was a casual.
He's taking your title, man.
Yes, I am.
I call for casual off right now. Casual combat is where you guys just kind of sit there, you look at each other. Every now and then you throw a noodle at each other. But go ahead, Undead. I'm sorry, man.
I'm just a audio and visual engineer.
All right. Well, cool. I guess the first thing we should probably get into first off is what got you guys into comic books? What got you into movies? The comic book movies. What got you into being, let's just be blunt, a flippin' nerd? Like me, it was getting picked on at school, so I had nothing else to do. I had no friends. I had nobody to talk to. So what did I do? I just secluded into my room. I kind of hid myself. And then my stepdad was like, hey, Stace, check out this box I had from back when I was in the military. I was like, what is this? And it's not most, military boxes like, look, dicks everywhere, porn. No, it was comic books. And I was like, okay, so what is this? I went and checked out. And there was this wonderful, X-Men, Spider-Man, Batman, all these amazing things. And I just found myself kind of delving into the world and losing myself in it. Yeah, it was kind of my escape. How about you, Casual?
Well, I honestly can't remember what specifically got me into it. I always liked the art. Like, for me, it was always the art. I didn't care about what the stories were. It was just, ooh, look at that cool thing on the page.
Really?
But I can tell you that I don't know why, but I can remember my very first comic. I can't remember the specific issue, but it was a Punisher comic. at the local 7-Eleven. I picked it up because, you know, it was the late 80s, early 90s, so this was at the height of the dark and broody comics, and Punisher was, you know, the king of that because he just uses guns and kills people. And
just pure testosterone to the best.
Oh,
I mean, really.
Oh yeah. Now, later in life, I learned that the Punisher actually has kind of a cool backstory and all of that junk. But mostly, it was just, you know, that first comic. When I picked it up, I just fell in love with the whole idea of comics in general. And as for movies, well, I've just grown up with movies. You know, I've seen too many.
The walls are lined with all the movies I've seen. You know, that was the weird thing. I never actually got too heavily into the movies. I did, but I didn't. You know what I mean? It was more, I enjoyed the comic books, I enjoyed the cartoons, but the movies themselves, I always had a hard time getting into for some reason. I have no idea why. But,
well, mostly they sucked until 2000-ish.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's just Batman. Enough said, really. But go ahead, Brad.
I never really got into mainstream comics, not only comics in general. I had a four issue, you know, some generic hero in the 90s, like a generic team. But I was more about movies. In particular, what really got me into movies was Lord of the Rings, the first movie, The Fellowship of the Ring. I was in high school also, and I was kind of in the Stacy Krugger mold of get picked on a lot and no friends. So I went looking for stories. And for some reason, Lord of the Rings, the movie, was like the perfect time for me. Ended up spending grand total of 27 hours parked on my ass watching the same movie. Saw it 9 times when it was in theaters. And I loved every second of it.
Wow. So this is all movie? You actually went to the theater over and over and over again to watch it, you said?
By myself, that's right.
My God, your wallet hated you.
I didn't pay for it.
Well, they see that's all that matters.
But yeah, it was just all about the story. And what I know about like comics comes from the comic book movies, and it just kind of goes from there.
That's cool, man. It's kind of it was your way of disappearing and giving yourself that reprieve from the outside world.
Exactly.
Heck yeah. Robbie, go ahead. Now I promise, Robbie, you're allowed to talk this time. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh God. Way back in the day, what first got me into kind of superhero stuff was the cartoons, the 90s Spider-Man and X-Men cartoons specifically. Mm-hmm. I absolutely loved those shows, like, with a passion. And then I was always kind of a Marvel guy more than a DC guy, although I loved the DC cartoons. The first comic book I ever saw was one from my older brothers. I don't remember the exact issue, but I remember it was Spider-Man, and it was during the Clone Saga. So, yeah, probably not the best thing to be introduced into comics, but it like got me wondering, oh, shit, these are in, like, books and shit. I didn't realize that, and because I live in, like, the countryside, there's not that many comic book shops. There was one just on the high street, and I'm very sad because today it closed down.
Today? Like today?
Yeah, like today was its last day.
No!
Another one bites the dust.
Yeah, basically what they're doing is they're going from having an actual shop to just mail order. So, yeah, that's disappointing. But yeah, that got me into comics. I started reading all these different comics. I especially loved Superman, some like All-Star Superman and Superman Red Sun were two of my favorites. But yeah, that kind of got me into the art scene. Like I started like thinking I really love the artwork. I started meeting some artists at my local comic book shop. And yeah, that kind of got me into wanting to become an illustrator and go specifically into comics, and that got me into even more comics. And then I eventually, when I into university, I got into I guess, alternative comics, like small press and stuff like that. So rather than mainstream comics. But yeah, that was my my rise to power, I guess.
My rise! All right, and Undead, go ahead, man.
Oh, well, I have to say, being the youngest here, I never really got the chance to start out with the old school comics and the old school
Casual, I think
movies.
he's trying to tell us we're old, man.
Yes,
Well,
yes, I am.
I am, so that's cool.
Speak for yourselves.
I started out with being obsessed with X-Men. I was like, this is the only type of movie I'll watch. This is the only thing I'll watch, including the cartoons. And I read a little bit of the comics, but it was more watching the movies. That was back, oh god. First one that I seen was in 2003, I think.
Okay.
So I'm kind of a new player to the game, so.
Well, new or old, as long as you love it, that's all that matters. As long as you delve yourself into the lifestyle of it and just the rich lore of it, that's all that matters. Yeah, I mean,
One
Absolutely.
of us.
Just keep grinding. Just keep grinding in your level up no time.
Did I just hear you say gnome time?
Well, excuse me, guys. I got to take off. I got to go play WoW. Apparently, my my holy priest can heal. We need to go raiding. Oh, Jesus. Everybody has their own reason why they became obsessed with comics and and even not necessarily comics, but why they became obsessed with like it was commonly known as the nerd culture. Yeah, I mean, whether it be Superman, whether it be Lord of the Rings, whether it be whatever it is, I guess, really, whether it be just comic books, just video games, just movies, whatever, you always have a reason for getting into it. And, these things take a special place in our heart, kind of like, a near and dear show to many of our hearts, Doctor Who. Now,
Yes.
Yep.
well, I know a lot of us here are obsessed with this show. There's one here that's not. We need to stare at him really awkwardly the entire podcast.
I'm British. I'm British. I have a requirement.
Yeah, it's just you come out the womb, they hand you a sonic screwdriver. It's just how it works. That's your play toy. It's a rattle.
The occasional time you blow something up with it. Oops, not my bad.
The sonic screwdriver didn't blow things up. It did screwdriver things just sonically. I'm done.
And occasionally blew stuff up.
I still think the laser screwdriver is better.
True.
Oh, jeez. But in the Whovian universe, we lost one of us. We lost one of them.
One of the greats.
One of the absolute greats, the War Doctor. If you remember, if I remember the episode where it was, if I remember correctly, it was the Day of the Doctor, wasn't it?
It was the 50th anniversary.
Okay, yeah, I remember. I can't remember the name. I want to say it's the Day of the Doctor was the 50th anniversary title, but they showed. Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen it yet, sorry. But they went back in time to when Gallifrey was. It was about to meet its end by the Who's by the Doctor's hand, and this is before he took the moniker of the Doctor and stuff like that. And Robbie queued up. I have a funny feeling he's like, "Hey, excuse me, I'm British. I know the truth here."
It was not before he took the moniker of the Doctor. He had the moniker already. He says in an episode before that it's kind of like a promise, but the War Doctor broke the promise, so he wasn't allowed to call himself the Doctor.
Oh, I misunderstood. Okay, never mind. Well, crap. How about we just look at the British guy and hope he corrects me on everything I do wrong here. But yeah. So the War Doctor himself, one that when I remember watching the episode, I lost my mind. Going, who is this? Is this the new Doctor? He's old. What the hell is this? What's going on? But going the whole way through it, it was in the short time that he was there in the episode, he actually took a real clamp to the heart. You know what I mean?
He was fantastic. Yeah,
That's because he's a classic actor who's just. And in case anybody's wondering, we're talking about John Hurt.
Yes, John Hurt.
Yeah.
Thank you. I should have said his name. I apologize. But yeah, he was a classically trained actor. He attacked the role so well. He made you fall in love with him, and just kind of like David Tennant and Matt Smith both. When they came around, it took a couple episodes before like, okay, I can deal with this guy. And then pretty soon you fell in love with him, and he was just like, oh, I don't want to see him leave. It never happened with the Ninth Doctor. I can't remember that guy's name.
Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah, I never felt that with Christopher ever.
I will agree that Chris Eccleston was a little bit less enjoyable overall, but and this is going to be a weird. I don't know episode titles and all of that, but there was an episode with Chris Eccleston that sticks in my mind for some reason, and it was dealing with a traffic jam, like a space traffic jam.
The episode is Deadlock.
Yep.
Okay, there you go. And people, the reason it sticks with me is I drive for a living, and I get stuck in traffic sometimes. But every time I'm stuck in traffic, all I can ever think is, at least it's not living in this traffic jam for like generations.
I remember watching that episode and just kind of, just watching like, okay, why are they still stuck in this? What the hell's going on? All of a sudden I started to unravel that they've been there for a generation. They've been born, some are born there, they've died there, and it's what the hell is going on with this,
I just wanted to get some milk.
I went out for milk. 20 years later, I'm still here. What the hell, man? But seriously, it was you couldn't help but stop and think, if you were in their spot, would you have eaten that and just kind of went, okay, I guess I'm going to have to sit here for 50 years before I can make it down the turnpike a couple miles?
Makes me wonder, because I remember in the episode that it was like flying cars because it's a space traffic jam. Mm-hmm. But like, if like anywhere here, you just think like, get out and walk.
Well, in that one, they had a long fall down, and there were, I can't remember the creatures that were at the bottom of it, but
weren't they in like some kind of tunnel too or something? Yep. So they couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, but big old tunnel, crabs underneath them that were, I think, were blind at that point because they devolved so far. It was some weird crap. I remember watching this going, this is hard to swallow, but it's entertaining at the same time,
That's one of the things I love about Doctor Who. And I'm kind of a new Whovian or whatever they call them. I didn't watch any of the old show. I saw it on like public television, in America, and it looked terrible, so I never watched it. And
same. The first Doctor Who I ever encountered was the Doctor Who movie, like for like the Eighth Doctor.
I didn't know there was a movie.
The Eighth Doctor's run wasn't really a series; it was just the movie.
Oh, no kidding! Really?
Yeah.
I bet he felt a bit cheated out there. Serious. You got the Eighth Doctor who got a movie, Chris who got one season, and then David Tennant's like, they looked at him and said, you can have the entire rest of the series. It's all yours. You're perfect. You know what I mean? What?
The Eighth Doctor, by the way, is Paul McGinn.
Thank you.
And it was 1996.
I did.
Yeah, in the 70s and 80s, I think they did like a lot of episodes, but it kind of dropped away in the 80s, and
there's like a crash.
A long time where there was no Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I've watched a whole bunch of the old episodes. They are fun. They're part of the appeal is, I guess, that whole hipster nonsense of, they're so bad, it's fun bullshit. That's not what I'm talking about right now. There is a certain appeal to the shows because if you look past the bad effects and stuff, it's an amazing show. It really is. It never really lost that appeal that we love nowadays. It's just nowadays it looks a lot nicer. That's all, in my personal opinion.
I honestly think maybe it's my love of like retro sci-fi, but I honestly think like the older episodes have like a certain charm to them, where they're very limited on their budgets, on the things they can do.
Mm-hmm.
Like being in black and white, and like the Daleks are like on these electrified tracks. That's funny.
Oh god, the Daleks look so bad back then.
They look great.
You can see the cardboard and tinfoil, you know.
At least they weren't as bad as the fucking Cybermen. Have you seen like the original Cybermen?
Oh, I remember seeing a picture, but I never actually seen them in the show.
They were literally like guys in balaclavas with like tubes and stuff stuck to them.
A
balaclava. It's balaclava is like a
it's
like a
mask.
ski mask.
Oh, what they were? I didn't think that's what they were.
The original ones were, yeah.
So, here's something I'd like to bring up in general about Doctor Who, though.
Okay.
Everybody calls it a sci-fi show. It's considered the longest-running sci-fi show in history of television, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But if you stop to think about all the different episodes, isn't it more horror?
Yeah. Now that I think about it, you're right.
Yeah, I guess so in a way.
Well,
I bring one of the Doctor's enemies to the forefront of that. Still scares the hell out of me just thinking about him. The Weeping Angels.
Yeah, they scared the piss out of me.
Oh, good.
I actually sat back before they took it off Netflix. I sat back and watched all of the episodes that I could on Netflix. That was the one episode that I had to skip because I've watched it several times before and I couldn't bear to watch it again because my nerves would not let me.
Really now?
Yeah.
I actually have a bunch of angel statues in my front garden. I just like to think they're protecting my house.
This is the last time we're ever going to hear of Rob.
So Robbie, I dug up the old pictures of the Cybermen. The one I saw must have been the one I thought was the original was right after the one that is the true original, because the one I'm seeing it looks just like a really awkward like Nesquik bucket, just with eye holes cut out. But I see the original picture where it's a ski mask. How did didn't the effects department go and like, this is never gonna pass, guys? This is terrible, man. This is awful.
I don't know what the budgets were like back then.
The actors had to have sold it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, I think also that kind of goes back to the whole argument of they were great because the effects weren't good, because the acting actually took skill. You know what I mean? Because you didn't have to rely on the great effects. You didn't have to rely on the green screen behind you to sell the character. It was up to you. And if you failed, the character was dead, no matter what.
Yeah, you had to compensate for that shit.
Yeah, man. But the whole reason we brought this up was John Hurt passed away today. One hell of a loss of the acting community, if you ask me.
I agree.
He played his final death scene.
Is that too soon?
I'm being legitimately not joking about it. John Hurt has a record that probably nobody's going to beat, and if they do, it's going to be Sean Bean, for dying on screen more than any other actor. If you look it up on Google, I think he's died on screen 70 or 80 times, maybe
Dear
more.
God, man.
And, he was, what was he, like, in his 80s or something?
I think he was 77.
Wow, he really wasn't that old at all.
Yeah, he was 77. So one of the things about him is that he's always looked older than his age.
Poor bastard.
That's for sure.
Well,
I absolutely loved how in the 50th anniversary you could really see him look like a grizzled old like warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'd been like through some shit for a long time and he was just tired of it all. He played that so well.
Well, exactly. You to play that role perfectly, you really had to capture that emotion of where the Doctor was at that point in time in his life. Because go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say the thing I liked about his role, because I haven't seen all the old Doctor Who stuff, and when I saw John Hurt, I was pretty sure he hadn't been in Doctor Who, but he did it so well, I believed he was the Doctor. You know what I mean? He didn't require any like the other actors, he didn't require you to see any other roles of him as the Doctor. He was just the Doctor.
Exactly.
Yeah, you knew who he was and what he was there to do. I just looked up some information on John Hurt. He was born January 22nd, 1940 in Chesterfield, Derbyshire.
Derbyshire.
Thank you. And died January 27th, 2017.
No kidding, eh?
Yeah, in London, I think.
Yep.
It's just, I can't stop complimenting him on his acting style because, once again, how many times have you heard in an episode or in the series in general, the Doctor go back and say, if I could do it again, I wouldn't. Or if I could do it again, I would have done something differently or would have tried something else. Now, imagine if they got somebody who just phoned it in, like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm kind of just picking him out just to kind of give an example of not great acting. But
whenever I think of a Keanu Reeves role, I just go back to Bill and Ted.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
That's exactly
Keanu Reeves is a master at playing a stonehead or a surfer.
That's because that's what he is, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if he puts the bong down long enough to go back on set. I think it's there, like, between every take, he goes and takes a rip just to keep that stoner roll going. Yeah.
Yeah. The actual first movie that John Hurt did was a TV series called Z Cars back in 1962.
Man, he's been at it for quite a while then. Well,
Yep.
Jesus. Well, I think we can all agree together. Rest in peace, John. You played one hell of a Doctor, and you definitely put a couple memories in our hearts.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Now, guy, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say one of my favorite roles he ever did was in the first Hellboy movie. Yeah, he played Hellboy's adoptive father.
Oh, that was him. Son of a... Why didn't it click?
Just that voice at the beginning. What makes a man a man?
You know,
that just gave me goosebumps.
as many times I've
Obviously not
watched it,
Stacy.
it was a great role. I'm not saying it was a bad role. That was a fantastic role. That was amazingly done. That's why I'm amazed it didn't click and didn't recognize who it was, because I loved the person who acted it. I was like, that's a good guy. That guy did that really well. Now I know why.
So I have a chart here of all the different ways John Hurt died on film.
You actually have a chart.
Someone made a
Yes.
chart for that?
Yes, they
Someone
did.
has no life.
It's the internet. There's a chart for everything.
Very true.
So John Hurt apparently died on screen 43 times. On this list, Sean Bean is fourth with 25. And here's
Who's second and third then?
Right?
let me scroll up for a second.
It should be noted, John Hurt died on screen twice in the exact same way. In the movie Alien, he was the guy that the chestburster came out of. And
Holy shit,
in
you're right.
Spaceballs, he ate the special, I think it was.
That was
and it
John?
Yeah.
Came out of him again.
No way, that was him.
Oh god, I didn't even know he was in that.
That's
Yep.
part of the
He reprised-
breakdown here.
He reprised the role that people remember from Alien.
You know, it's many times I've watched. That was one of my favorite scenes from the entire movie, where I end up just watching it laughing because I was like, "That's funny that they ripped it off and just made a joke out of it." Now, apparently they did it. It was just John was like, "LOL, let's do it again. Why the hell not?" Jeez, man.
He even says his line in the movie in Spaceballs is, "Oh no, not again."
I absolutely love when actors can look back at their old roles and make fun of them like that.
Right? Oh no. Something I was actually hoping to bring up on the podcast was a superhero who I despised for a long time. And I know a lot of you guys, anybody who's ever watched my stream or just talked to me in general knows who I'm talking about.
I know where this is going.
Superman. I despised Superman for the longest time. And I thought so little of him. there was just one of the things where you looked at him and were like, it's just an alien. What's fun about an alien who's just got all these miraculous powers? And that's why I kind of really attached myself so much to Batman, because he was just a person with nothing more than willpower. Until I saw someone named Max Landis do a pitch for the death and return of Superman. Blew me on my rear end and actually made me stop and go, wow, Superman could be really cool, you know? And it gave me it made me give Superman a second chance. I'm actually starting to love Superman finally, you know?
I'm still in the boat of I don't really care for him. I mean, I'll watch a movie if he's in it, but I don't really care for his story. I mean, I watched the show on Netflix, Supergirl.
It's on CW.
I want to say CW.
Yeah, CW.
It's a CW now, yeah.
And that really shines a lot of story on his background and what their background is. That's the only time I actually sat back and watched anything to do with Superman.
Well, the thing about Superman that makes him so unique is he is the first superhero. Like when people say superhero now, they include people like Batman and stuff. But let's face it, Batman isn't super.
Oh, by no means, no.
And Superman's main claim to fame is that he was basically just the first. He was lifting cars and jumping over buildings and stuff. Yep. And the problem with Superman is that none of the original writers reined it in. They just every so often they just get, oh, he has laser vision now and he has super breath and super strength and they kept making him so powerful.
And they started giving him some weird powers as well.
Yeah. And the movies are guilty of it too. I mean, the original Christopher Reeves movies, they gave him powers that he never had in the comics, and that's the problem is when you make a character that's essentially God, how do you make him interesting?
Well, the same thing could be said, as far as power creep, which is what that is. Same thing could be said for characters like Magneto. It depends on who the writer is. Magneto's had times where, he can fly, but it's relatively challenging for him. He can reverse a planet's polarity of its magnetic field with a wave of his hand.
I missed this one. Like I've always remembered him flying, but I've never heard of him today we're gonna go backwards.
Well, again, it comes down to who's the writer.
Yeah, exactly.
And Superman didn't really have any boundaries, as Casually was saying.
And if you get the right writer,
mm-hmm.
Superman can be interesting. But the problem is you have to get the right writer.
A great example of an awesome writer who made Superman interesting, 1,000,000%, was the people who did Injustice.
Absolutely.
I was knocked absolutely blown away by that story. And me being the Batman freak I was like, oh, it'll be Batman, cool. No, it was like the Superman show with Batman going, okay, we're going to fight the bad Superman, but it's still Superman's show. And normally I never get into the whole, this one's evil, this one's the good guy nonsense. It's a bit weird, like, this is Superman, but it's the evil Superman. Look, he's got a different cut to his cape. Oh, he's scary. Normally
he has evil shoulder pads now.
Exactly, he's got evil shoulder pads. Watch out for him.
He has a goatee. Everyone knows a goatee is evil.
Pretty soon he starts twirling his mustache like Sniper Whiplash. But, normally I hate that, but Injustice, it did it on levels where I actually got emotionally connected to it. And that is grade A writing. I mean, still...
Bruce's son.
Oh, God. Oh, God. As it was, Damian Wayne always hit a real chord with me whenever I read the story and stuff like that when it came to Damian Wayne. But playing Injustice and seeing the fight between not Hawkeye.
Hot Girl.
Was it Hawkeye?
The arrow shooting guy? Green Arrow?
It wasn't Green Arrow, was it? It was a DC flick.
Green Arrow is DC. Hawkman is one of theirs.
Okay, I can't remember. Well, it must have been Hawkeye then. Hawkman, I mean.
Enjoy the photo I just shared.
Was it? Oh, Batman stepped in during it. Yeah, sorry. They just shared a picture of me freaking out during the fight. But I can't remember who it was who was fighting. I'm probably gonna get comments like, "You dumbass! It's this guy." Go ahead, please. But the fight was going on, and the entire time they were looking at him like, "How could you do this to Bruce? He took you in." You know, he talked to him as if I don't know if it was Jason Todd or which Robin he was talking to and who he thought it was. But the battle was going. How could you do this to Bruce? He took you in. When your parents blah 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 blah. And he's like, he didn't take me in. He's my father, and he abandoned me. And Bruce, Superman was more of a father to me than ever. And I was just like, what? No, it's Damian.
For the record, he was fighting Green Arrow in the cutscene.
Was it Green Arrow? Oh,
before Batman stepped in.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
So, speaking of Green Arrow, isn't he just Batman with arrows?
Essentially.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. It's just that he's really good with his shot, I guess. I don't know. He was another one of those superheroes where you're like, oh, he's got a bow and arrow. Cool. That's it? Okay, I'll be over here reading
a quote-unquote superhero Robin Hood.
They really overdid his whole Robin Hood theme in the old comics.
What, steal from the rich and give to the poor nonsense?
No, everything, like his look. He had the pointed green hat. He had the.
Oh crap! You're right, huh?
Oh, he was just awful looking.
It's been years since I've thought of his old look. But yeah, but seeing the reaction of Damian attacking his father and screaming at him, the battle between Batman, and it was like, oh, this is intense. What is this? It was heart-wrenching watching the Waynes fight and them hating each other. It was absolutely heart-wrenching because you read the comics and it was just, especially when you saw him die, you're like, I'm bawling reading this because yet another Robin died. Big surprise. Apparently Robins are disposable. Who knew? But it was the son of Bats. It was, Bruce's son this time dying. But all of a sudden, slap to the new universe, they hate each other. They're battling. And it's like, my heart doesn't know what to do right now. It was amazing, Maybe it's just me being a softie at heart. But
in Justice Universe, it was said that Damian actually killed Dick Grayson.
Wait.
Whoa, what?
You can't kill Dick Grayson. He's Nightwing.
That's according to the Injustice video game.
Yeah, in the Injustice video game,
in the bad universe.
I thought
there he's Deadwing.
God damn it! I thought Nightwing was alive in the bad universe.
The bad universe, no. It's Damian Wayne is Nightwing.
Okay. Well,
so that was kind of their falling out moment.
Here's a great question I would love to know from the storyline of Injustice. Is Damian Wayne dead in the good universe?
Or
is he Robin in the good universe?
There's no mention of Damian in the quote normal universe.
Okay, then what about when Bats goes back? With the good Bats, the normal universe Bats goes to the bad universe, and they're both Bats are going like, oh, Nightwing, oh God, oh crap, it's Robin, oh God, it's Damian Wayne. Is the normal Bats going, LOL, who's this? Was he created yet, or did him and Talia not bone in the normal universe?
I have no idea. You'd have to read the comics to figure that out.
Maybe when he got back, he was like, I'm going to make me some Damian.
Oh, yeah, front and center. Let's do this. Come on. I need heir to the throne now. Oh, jeez.
But thinking about it, if he did go back to the quote unquote regular universe, you think after what happened in the bad universe, he'd probably go, no, fuck that.
Look at this one. We're not doing this.
Talia, this is why I do not have kids.
Talia, I love you, but we're wrapping it up. We're using the bat condoms from now on.
I always just assumed he couldn't have kids because, he's been taken captive and kicked in the balls and radioactive villains and everything else,
His back broken.
You'd think none of the heroes would ever be able to have kids.
Except for the Flash.
Because he goes so damn fast. he doesn't know how to pull out in time.
Talk about rabbit sex.
I'm just picturing a bat condom having the little pointy
ears. Pointy ears for her pleasure. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stacy Krugger in the rabbit hole.
The never-ending rabbit hole.
And of course, when he takes it out of the package, it says "bat condom" on it.
Oh, God.
In a yellow and black package.
Does it reek of justice?
I think it stinks more of a... It reeks of brooding.
Oh, no.
Darkness, no parents.
Oh, so he doesn't want to be a parent. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah, no parents, condoms.
It's called repellent.
Repellent.
How he never gets laid, he just puts repellent on his condoms.
Oh, no. Oh. What happened? We were doing so good, guys. We were doing so good.
I blame Robbie.
I was trying so hard to... shut up, all of you, because you're going to be like, oh, hard penis. We're trying so hard not to do this, and here comes you guys going, let's just incite Stacy. Yeah, all right.
This is why I've been quiet so long, because I just think every time you say something, I'm just thinking, that's a dick joke.
Well, Stacy put out a very good foundation. We're just building a house.
Oh, it
get it
just
right. It's a sex
happens
dungeon.
to be shaped like a dick.
Oh, Jesus.
And dark.
Oh, life. What is it? Oh.
I ruined the 18+ tab. I'm going to try not to ruin this too.
In case you guys are wondering what he's talking about, we have a Discord for the stream and the podcast, which you can join. We'll make sure to put a link to it. To where you can contact us and come, chit chat with us if you like. Well, we have an 18+ tab to where my goal is for lewd stuff. Stuff like, lewd pictures, because it's a very lewd community I have. And here comes Robbie like, oh, great, excuse for porn. Just all of the porn, man.
Hey, dicks and buckets of cum is plenty lewd.
I don't think you can fit all of the porn onto the Discord. I think it would crumble.
Robbie's gonna try.
Robbie tried, and he's being pretty damn successful at it so far. I mean, just some of the craziest, just awful, just where you stop and go, what? Why is that? Why is it 10 feet tall, and why are they cuddling it? That's pretty much the question you have to ask every time Robbie posts any picture. I mean, honestly. Oh, God. Can we... Anyway.
Meanwhile,
in the halls of justice.
Stacy, I'm not apologizing.
I almost need one after seeing half that stuff. Well, Rad, the reason we asked you, this is a fantastic transition, ladies and gentlemen. This is called pro transitioning.
This is called a segue.
This is the best segue possible, okay? Out of pure lewd porn, 18+ into Nintendo. Rad. We asked you on the show today because we were discussing the rise and fall of Nintendo. And I feel the true fall of Nintendo. A lot of people would argue that because of the recent boom and the hoopah over the Switch. Nintendo Switch being released. When I look at Nintendo, I feel the peak of Nintendo was the SNES. Like, you could not get better than the SNES.
I would argue that that's the peak of console gaming, period. But
really?
Yeah,
there's a reason why it's called the golden age of consoles.
this is something I would love to hear. Why do you feel the SNES, not the NES, the SNES? So instead of the Nintendo Entertainment Center, the Super Nintendo Entertainment Center was the peak of gaming, a peak of consoles.
Well, in my opinion, and this is coming from somebody that's been gaming since Atari. And if you don't know what Atari is, there's no reason you should.
It's a fantastic system. It was amazing. I love it so much. I remember it was my very first system I ever played.
Little cubes.
Fighting other little cubes.
Minecraft.
With little cubes.
Question: if you're saying that with little cubes, then what the hell is Minecraft to you?
But here's the joke answer, and also kind of the real answer is two things for me. Parallax scrolling, I believe it's called. And if you don't know what that is, it's when in a two-dimensional side-scroller or any kind of thing, something in the foreground moves faster than the main ground of the character, and something in the background moves slower, and it gives it fake 3 dimensions.
Okay.
When you say that, I think of Sonic.
Yes.
Yeah, they did that a lot in the Genesis era of Sonic. And the other thing is called, and I believe this is specific to the Super Nintendo, is Mode 7.
Yep, Mode 7, that's right.
Now, if you don't know what Mode 7 is, they didn't actually have any 3D when the Super Nintendo came out. But they faked it. And the way they faked it, I don't know, because I don't know the technical know-how. But they did things like Doom and F-Zero and Mario Kart. And the Super Nintendo era brought us games and concepts that still exist today in various forms. And other than maybe a couple of minor modifications to the controller, because the Super Nintendo controller is still kind of what we're using today. The only thing that was added was analog sticks.
And also 1 or 2 extra triggers.
Yeah, but still, Nintendo revolutionized gaming with the Super Nintendo, and the advances since have mostly just been graphical, obviously 3D. Mm-hmm. We can accept that, yes, 3D was a huge leap.
Yes.
But I think if you're looking back at what the Super Nintendo brought to the table, it changed gaming in such a grand way that it just set the stage to be the pinnacle.
At the time as well, it's what we look back now as the so-called the console wars.
Oh yeah,
where you had Super Nintendo versus Sega Genesis, or the Mega Drive if you're not in the States.
Let's all remember, count the pixel. What was it? Count the bits. Remember the bits. The bit wars. Blast processing nonsense.
And going back a ways, a good representation of Mode 7 is the Super Nintendo version of Star Fox.
I forgot that was Mode 7.
That's I believe that was the first Mode 7 game. I'm probably wrong on that, but I would say
it's got to be either that or F-Zero.
Right, it's a very good representation of what Mode 7 was really all about. Now, Mode 7 was a special chip that they added onto each cartridge for the games that could use it to to basically make a 2D console output 3D type stuff.
See, I actually had no idea that was the case. Excuse me. I had no idea at all. I just kind of thought the SNES was just that powerful and it just did the thing, you know?
I believe, technically speaking, and this has kind of always been true, one system is always faster and the other is more powerful, whatever that actually means. Mm-hmm. And I believe the Super Nintendo was technically more powerful than the Genesis, but the Genesis had a faster processor. So
and a better sound chip.
Oh, see, that's the funny thing. I remember because I was always real big into Genesis when the wars were happening. I was a bigger Genesis fan strictly because of the sound. I remember like playing so many games that had such beautiful music, in-game music, but yet people tend to always gravitate back towards Nintendo instead, or the SNES instead for music, which I always thought was weird until I kind of stopped and thought about it. It wasn't necessarily about the actual music itself. It was more the memories attached to the music that made it so iconic and so memorable. You know what I mean?
And for those who don't know, for a few months, like 5-6 months, in I believe early 1993, Genesis actually outsold Super Nintendo.
That must have been around the Sonic era.
I would imagine so, yeah. Because Sonic, I remember Sonic actually gave Nintendo a bit of a run for its money because it was just an awesome game, you know? But
I was lucky in that I had both.
Yeah, same here. I had both systems too.
Sonic on the Sega Genesis was actually the very first gaming experience I've ever had.
Really?
Yep. And both consoles come out before I was even thought of.
Oh, okay. When did the Atari come out? That came out in...
Oh, early 80s. 80...
I want to say
80 or 81. It was sometime before
was it
the...
earlier than that?
It was sometime before the crash.
Okay, because I was about to say, because my very first console ever was a Atari 2600, and that was, I was, oh shit, 4 or 5 years old, because it was in 90, 91. I'm assuming it was in 80, 89, somewhere in there.
Atari 2600 was released on September 11th, 1977.
Yeah, the
Really?
50-something hundred was the one that a lot of people think...
The 5200 in 1982.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
they think it was the 2600 because they weren't really that different, but it's actually the next generation of the same basic system.
Exactly. But like, I was actually gonna talk a bit about the crash because when you said that you felt that the SNES was the peak of consoles, that's what I thought you were gonna actually bring up is that NES. Regular Nintendo, you had the chance. It was basically kind of like produce games all you want, guys. It's an open market. Have fun. Produce all the games you want. There's no quality control. But when the SNES came out, that's when the quality control finally kicked in. And when Nintendo was like, "Hey, we had a whole bunch of crap games on the Nintendo. We need to make sure this new console is better." I mean, obviously there was still pirated games, or not necessarily pirated games, but third-party games that,
Unlicensed.
Unlicensed. Thank you very much. That's the word I was looking for. There's still obviously some unlicensed games, but, excuse me, it was definitely way more controlled than that. I figured that's actually what you were going to key in on, to tell you the truth.
Well, the big thing at the video game crash was, as you said, it was about all this just basically shovelware, which is the term for it now. Just, Atari and all the companies back in the early 80s said, you want to make a game for our console? Go right ahead. We don't, it's sales for us. So the big crash happened in 1983. The video game market collapsed pretty much overnight. So that was the famous the ET dumping ground in New Mexico. Now,
which it should be noted has more than just ET, but
yes, but it's still no gems there. We'll put it that way.
Oh, come on! E.T. had a oh God! I can't lie through my teeth. I can't be sarcastic. I can't pretend that was a good game. I would rather slam my face in the door over and over again for about an hour and a half straight than ever touch that game. Even the cartridge. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And now the NES was released in Japan early 85 or late 84 and came out in the United States in fall of 1985. NES was a big revolution in that Nintendo was a closed community. You had to get Nintendo's blessing, to make a game for their system. So that's where you had the Nintendo seal of quality and things like that. That's what that was about. So Nintendo really brought back video games as a viable market. Before that, It was just seen as just a toy to get. It's not It's not anything that's really viable long term.
See, I heard the exact opposite, that Nintendo, the regular Nintendo, it was balls to the wall, just let anybody make a, like, look at all the LGNs. Oh, not LGN. LGN. LJN. That's what it was. I'm sorry, LJN. All those little gems that came out with that. Like, remember Wolverine, X-Men, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, all that garbage. So I thought that they had the same exact stance as far as I understood. I guess I'm happy to hear that I was completely wrong about this. Well, in a way. I can't remember where I heard it from then. Well, Stacy makes an ass of himself in a podcast. It won't be the first time.
Yeah.
Talking about you making an ass of yourself live on air, how many times have you done that in the radio?
Oh, God, we're not going to. There's still clips of me floating around here in my hometown of stupid things I've said.
I'm pretty sure that was the premise of his show, Stacy being an ass on the radio.
That's the beauty of live, recordings and stuff. You can't control it. There's no script, so what gets said gets said.
That's exactly, and that's why I got so much into the broadcast, and the live broadcast and stuff like that. That's why I got into radio in the first place, because I was obsessed with the glamour of it. That you did this, but you can't screw. If you screwed it up, you have to just deal with it. I enjoyed that so much, and that's why I decided to keep going with it. You know what I mean? Excuse me, I'm sorry. Okay, just so you guys know, I've been getting over a nasty cold. Like, the cold itself is gone, but my lungs are like, oh, by the way, we're layered in about 3 feet of gook. So it's it's priceless. You just decide to go take a nice deep breath. All of a sudden, your lungs are like, oh, by the way,
you can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus.
That's your body reminding you, hey, remember that cold you had? Here's the reruns.
I also think a lot of it was because I used to smoke. It was God, I want to say 7 years ago, between 5 and 7 years ago, that I quit smoking, and it's still to this day my body still hates me for it. Yeah, I mean, and I still regret it so much. But yeah, so okay. When I think, kind of go back to our original subject here about the golden age of Nintendo, when I look at the SNES, it just, like you point out, that it revolutionized gaming. It really, it kind of set a real high watermark for what gaming was going to be and what the goal of gaming was going to be. That when I look at everything that came after it, the Nintendo 64, it was supposed to be like the next wave of the future, the greatest thing ever, but it kind of turned out to be a bit of a turd, in my opinion. The controller, they were like, okay, brand new system, jumped way ahead in technology. We need to make a controller that looks just as nice. No, you don't. You literally took everything that was amazing about your system and just flushed it down the toilet. Yeah, I mean, because the controller, at least to me, was incredibly hard to use and incredibly uncomfortable, to the point where it was actually painful to play the system. Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to be devil's advocate for that controller.
Okay.
And say that I love that stupid thing. Now, when I say that, it has to do mostly with just I was starting to get into first-person shooters when the N64 came out.
Okay.
And it had a bunch of them, and I know everybody's going to say, oh, mouse and keyboard for life, but for me, having that analog stick, because let's give credit where credit is due, Nintendo did put out the analog stick first. People will remember. People remember PlayStation, but PlayStation didn't actually have their analog control until about halfway through the PlayStation's, cycle.
Oh, son of a gun! You're right. I didn't notice.
Approximately 1997.
Yeah.
Crap, you're right.
And Nintendo, when they released that analog control, and I wholeheartedly agree with you that control, when you try to play with it now, it's terrible. I don't know what they were thinking with that weird three control thing. It doesn't make sense. But
and then trying to play a game that you have to use pretty much every single
God.
button on it.
Yeah. That was fun.
I knew what they were thinking.
Brings back so many memories. I'm getting painful thoughts here. No, but after that came the GameCube, and that monstrosity.
Never
of a controller.
played it.
You're lucky.
I completely skipped the GameCube.
See, that's where I really picked up on gaming after I sold or got rid of my PlayStation 1.
Really, you went from PlayStation 1 to the GameCube?
Yeah.
That actually surprises me.
I fell in love with the thing.
I kind of did the opposite, going from Nintendo to PlayStation.
See, that's the same exact way I was, Rob. I went, you know what's not fun? This thing. I'm gonna give up the 64. I think I had it like once, if I remember correctly. I had it, and somebody gave it to me just as a present, and I was like, this is not me. Screw this thing. Yeah, I mean, I went from that to the PlayStation. Was like, this is perfect.
But Rumble Pack.
God.
Okay, the Rumble Pack in the GameCube. That thing was way too heavy for what it needed to be.
Right?
It was way too strong to the point that it actually broke my buddy's table. He had a glass top table, and it was vibrating so hard one day that it broke the glass.
And at that point, did Mommy take the controller back and not let him play with it again, and he couldn't figure out why it was always crusty?
No, he picked up the... oh, God.
I was just thinking maybe I should have gone GameCube.
See, there you go.
No, this is a few years. Like, he still has it, and he just picked up the controller, ripped it out of the system, and threw it across the wall, threw it across the room.
I can't blame him.
I have only thrown a controller once, and it was not in rage at a game. The controller was broken. It just stopped working. Yeah. So I decided, well, I'm going to throw it at the wall. Now, the controller did break into a bunch of pieces, but the unfortunate side effect, I think it was a PlayStation controller or something. What do you call that? Yes, those controllers are heavy, because they've got all the junk in them, and I put a hole in the wall, so... Didn't quite go as intended.
You have to look at the landlord. Yeah, sorry, the cat got crazy, I swear.
I never threw a controller, but I punched a TV once out of pure anger.
Whoa. Back it up. I have everybody makes fun of me for being the rage gamer. I've never punched a TV, okay? What in the hell happened where you had to punch a TV?
Yeah, what's the premise?
I was playing one of the old Dragon Ball Z games. I think it was Budokai.
Mm-hmm.
And I just could not get past this one enemy. I think it was Future Trunks, and I just lost it and threw the controller down and just punched. It was one of those old Raytube TVs as well. So it was like the big thick TVs.
No.
Please tell me you broke your hand.
No, I've never broken a bone in my body. Luckily, I didn't break the TV, but from then on, I had to play video games on a weirdly colored TV.
I'm a little too well known for the controller. I've gotten way better with it, but you do not believe how many times on stream or just sitting here and just...
You take most of your anger out on chat.
Shut up. I do not.
This is true.
I know I don't. Okay, maybe I've gotten better.
Predator.
Isn't that what the chat is for?
I've gotten way better. I've gotten way better with that. I've learned to self-loathing at that point. But I can't count the number of times I've sent Super Nintendo controllers flying, Nintendo controllers flying. And I love it too, because it's back when I lived with my mom, and we all shared the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo and the Genesis. And
so you'd fuck it up for everyone.
Oh, my stepdad came home from school, came home from work, and Stacy, hi. What happened to the controller? The dog stepped on it. Oh, really? The dog stepped. Yeah, the dog stepped on. Why is there a hole in the wall? The dog farted and put a hole in the wall. And this, I wish I could tell you I'm joking. This was an actual excuse once I said.
Really?
I was a dumb child. I mean, this is before my drug years too, you know, because every kid has to go through those extreme drug years. This is what this is like. I was, oh God, 8, 9 years old. So, you know, this was a valid excuse to me, you know.
What kind of dog did you have to where you thought this was a feasible excuse?
It was half white, half black lab.
Oh, I was
it
thinking
looked like a baby black bear.
I was thinking, meanwhile, it was like a pug. Or like a chihuahua.
Oh, that little thing? Yeah, it's monstrous farts.
Hey, don't put it past little dogs that have deadly farts. Mine does. For my birthday party last year, there's a little family get-together. He cleared a goddamn room.
Oh, yes, we all know you blamed it on the dog.
Hey, I was out for a smoke at that time.
Fortunately, it wasn't out for a smoke inside. Otherwise, that would have been a... we would have thought the country was under attack from
Blue Angel.
God damn it.
The smoke was just your get out clause.
Exactly. All right, great. Time for a smoke. See you guys later. It was the dog.
My mom has done that.
Oh, really? Blamed it on... Jesus.
Yes, she blames it on the dog more times than not.
Jesus. Excuse me.
Or blames it on the cat sitting next to me.
No.
You all have seen how big my cat is. It's, it's a feasible monstrous option.
That's less cat. That's more like...
Mancoon.
There you go. That's it right there. Exactly. Jesus Christ. But, you know, back off of the farting animals subject here. Jesus Christ.
Meanwhile, 20 minutes ago.
Meanwhile, and the subject started 20 minutes ago.
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom.
In the South Park version, meanwhile, in the same location.
Pretty damn much. So then, you know, you had the GameCube. And then what came after the GameCube? It was the...
Wii.
Was that the Wii after that?
No, it wasn't the Wii.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Yep. I mean, obviously, we're skipping over the handheld consoles because screw those things.
Now,
when did the Dreamcast come out?
Dreamcast came out in 1999.
Way too soon after the Saturn, or vice versa.
I agree.
I could talk your ears off about Sega.
I think that was the problem with Sega and their eventual downfall of their console years, is they were trying so hard to compete with Nintendo at the time that they didn't think about the market well enough, and they ran their consumers away. They had a system and then another system, then an add-on to that system, and they're other than hardcore Sega fanatics, most people were just sick of all of this stuff coming out so quickly.
Every attachment. I had the 32X. I had the Sega. I had every attachment to those series, and I loved them. I remember sitting here hearing everybody bash the Sega CD, and I was going, "Why is this bad? This is amazing!" I remember playing Jurassic Park, Sewer Sharks.
Echo the Dolphin CD, 32X.
God. I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was awesome, man.
Have you seen those the pictures of old consoles with all those attachments that they just got them all stacked on top of each other, like a freaking tower?
Fun fact: PlayStation wouldn't exist if it weren't for Nintendo.
Yep, because of the breakaway.
That's right.
Because originally it was supposed to be an attachment onto the 64, the Nintendo disk drive, correct?
No, it was supposed to be Super Nintendo. They hired
really?
Sony. They hired Sony because of the Sega CD. They hired Sony to look into basically the same thing, a CD drive attachment to the Super Nintendo.
I could have sworn it was 64 for some reason. Okay.
Well, the 64 does have its own disk drive, but we'll get into that later.
Oh, Jesus, really?
I didn't even know about that one. But
we
yeah,
gotta hear about that later. Yeah.
So when Nintendo saw that Sega's CD wasn't living up to its own expectations, and they just said, well, we thank you for your attempt to make a system for us there, Sony, but we don't want it anymore. Unfortunately, Sony had invested millions, I don't know, hundreds of millions of dollars in this thing, and it was 90% ready to go when Nintendo pulled out. So Sony said, what are we supposed to do with this? And then the PlayStation came out, and for the last many, many years has been kicking Nintendo's ass.
That's exactly it. To me, it was Sony was always the best thing on earth. But of course, I'm not gonna lie, I was a hardcore Sony freak. Whenever this Xbox came, I was like, oh, screw that infantile piece of crap. That's awful. It's a great system. I just didn't like it. Mainly because of the controller. Even to this day, I can't play a 64. I can't play Xbox, period, because the controllers are that bad. They just hurt my hand. That's all. They're great systems. They're fantastic systems. They just hurt my hand, But
I actually love the 360 controllers.
Yeah, so do I. That's actually the only controller I can play. I hate gaming on my PS3 controller.
See,
I actually
I'm
got
exact
one of
opposite.
those adapters for my PlayStation when I still had it.
There was an adapter? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it wouldn't let you use the 6-axis or whatever, but who cares?
Screw it.
One downside to the 360 controller is the D-pad.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Oh, because of how awkwardly it was placed?
No, because Nintendo owns the rights to the best D-pad in the history of D-pads. They patented the D-pad in the original Nintendo Entertainment System, and nobody can use that design ever.
What? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that's why the original Sega controllers had that basically the same D-pad that the 360 controllers have, and
it's a
PlayStation
instead of actual hard points.
Yeah, and PlayStation has that weird split D-pad and stuff. That's all because Nintendo got there first.
I had no idea. I thought it was just them trying to set themselves apart.
No, Nintendo was smart.
Well, it just blows my mind that something as simple as that would be the game breaker. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I will admit, though, that by far Nintendo did have the best controller ever. Oh, my God, the SNES controller. Oh, I love that thing. For speedrunning, too. Oh, boy. Oh, the best part was your hands never got tired with those things. You know what I mean?
The only problem with any controller is when it breaks. Because it always breaks at the time when you're about to do something really cool and not die.
Because that damn dog stepped on it again. You know what I mean? Oof. And then it farted
The
at
dog
the wall.
farted.
Yep. That dog stepped on it and then farted at the wall. Oh. I don't know, but
I have never had a controller die on me.
Really?
Oh, I have.
Really?
Ever.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I've had like 3 die on me on stream.
See, all of my controllers end up dying because either I throw them, I smash them into the floor or my
Jesus.
desk. I was an angry kid.
That poor controller.
Or I throw it at the TV.
My controllers have the exact same problem every time. It's the whichever button is the main one. On Xbox controllers, it's the A button. On PlayStation, it's the X. They just wear out. You play a million games and you bash that one button over and over again, and it just stops working.
Exactly.
Yep.
But yeah,
Like Stacy found out in Injustice.
Oh, shut up. Shut up. Oh, God, my hand still hurts. I'm not joking. My hand still hurt from that game. Blast. I had a blast playing. It was so much fun. And I usually hate, like, fighting games like that. But that game was fun. But, my God, do my hands hurt from it.
Are you ready for Injustice 2? It's coming out soon.
Yeah, it's already guaranteed to me. I cannot wait to play that game. I am so excited. I have insider knowledge. Excuse me. Thank you very much. Yeah, Stacy's trying to sound important. Can you tell?
Drop.
Stacy important isn't Stacy.
Exactly. No, but like, guys, we're going back to the subject once again. Let's see if we can. We're like us talking is like trying to herd cats. It just doesn't work too well. Trying to stay on one subject, But the subject of Nintendo falling apart, that when it really was at its peak. Look at the Wii. Look at that thing, the Wii. It was so cool for about 5 minutes until you got exhausted, and when I just want to sit down and play a game. But no, you have to stand up and do cartwheels, and you need to do spin kicks, and you must do all this stupid shit. I just want to sit down and game.
I remember hearing so many stories of people accidentally throwing those Wiimotes at their TV.
I've done that. I missed the TV by half an inch.
Why they created the straps and why they at the beginning of the games they all have those PSA. Remember to put your strap on and hold tight. And
Poor choice of words.
But before we get sidetracked on that, I will say,
Mommy, where's our strap on at? The Nintendo's told me to put my strap on.
Wow. But I will say this for Nintendo.
Yeah.
At least they try to innovate almost every time they put out a new console.
Absolutely, yes.
They are, in my opinion, the masters of new controller concepts, and the proof is in what's that PlayStation knockoff that didn't really go anywhere? The balls. That's it. Move.
PlayStation Move.
I've never heard that one.
It looked like a weird sex toy.
It did. And
yes. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, I forgot about that thing. It was such a failure.
I think they still tried to use it or something for their new VR thing.
I remember some attempts to making games for those. Just no.
Don't forget the Kinect.
Ugh.
I wish I could. I have a little personal story about the Kinect. So the Kinect is finally starting to kind of be pushed to the side because they've integrated it into the system now, I guess, in the new Xbox One and stuff. But when I finally decided to buy an Xbox 360, I ordered it online from I can't remember who I bought it from. I think it was Dell. It didn't come. I waited the requisite 2 or 3 weeks and it didn't come, and I waited another couple months and it didn't come, and after a while I was like, what's going on? So I sent them a message saying, so I ordered this system a while ago, it's not here. I know it was around Christmas when I ordered it, so I kind of expected it to be delayed. And they sent me back this thing that said, well, we ran out of stock on the system you wanted. The one I wanted was, it had like the 250 gig hard drive.
Okay.
And so I said, okay, so what does that mean? And they said, well, for the same amount, we can give you the Kinect integrated version with a 4 gigabyte hard drive. Which, 4 gigs is tiny. And I said, okay, how about this? You send me my money back, or you send me the system I ordered. Amazingly, within a week, I got the system I originally ordered.
I guess they like money more than they do their systems.
Basically, they were trying to push, Microsoft was trying to push the Kinect on everyone, and
Yeah.
Screw the Kinect.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such. Oh God. No,
I'd like to point out that, as Stacy found out, my webcam that I'm using is actually the PlayStation Move Eye. It's the camera for it.
Oh god.
I have one of those around the house. I had no idea they were part of the Move. I thought there was just their independent webcam that they had for some goofy reason, you know?
Well, they brought it out for like a standalone, but people found out that it works with the Move as well. So people just said screw paying for the actual Move camera, and they just started using these ones.
Oh, no kidding, eh?
I used to have the camera for the PlayStation 2.
The PlayStation 2 had a camera.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was for, but yeah, it did have one.
Oh, Jesus.
I have no idea like why I had it either.
I need to find this. Hold on, please.
Oh my god, here I got it.
I need to see. Oh God, that's ugly.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, I'm going to try the best I can to describe this to you. It looked like the PlayStation 2, but like they collapsed it down, they scrunched it down, and like they shoved like a dollar camera right into the front of it, and they tried like a memory card, but in the shape of a PlayStation.
Looks like a memory card.
It's the size and shape of a memory card, but it looks like the PlayStation with like those black ribs on the side of it, with a dollar eye in the front of it. It just looks ugly. Absolutely hideous. Oh God.
I just thought of something. Going back to the console wars between Sega and Nintendo during the 16-bit era.
Yeah.
The console wars between PlayStation and Xbox.
The what do you call it? The commercials for Sega were super high kinetic and crazy cuts, which probably are slow by today's standards.
Yeah.
And at the end of them, they used to say, "Welcome to the next level, Sega."
Yeah.
There's a funny little, if you've ever played the game Metal Gear, the original Metal Gear on Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
No battery backup for the saves, so you had to enter the passcodes. Welcome to the next level, Sega works as a passcode. It starts you near the end with a timer counting down, and it gives you a rocket launcher, a shotgun, and some other stuff. It's really weird. I don't even know why I punched it in one day, but those characters all fit, and it's one of the weirdest things. You know, it's like a glitch code or something.
Basically, you cheese the game and skip to the end.
Yes and no, because you're missing a bunch of key items. It's like a passcode that shouldn't exist. And I always thought it funny because it's Sega's motto at the time, and it's in a Nintendo game.
GG, man.
Yeah, really.
Well, like going back to the collapse of Nintendo, I think, and then also going on to the Wii. What was it, the Wii Next, or whatever they called the next one, the Wii
Switch.
Wii
U. Thank you.
All right, the Wii U.
The Wii U. Then you had like a mini screen. You had to stare at it. Then you had to look back up the big screen. Then back down to the small screen. It's just goofy. And now we have the Nintendo Switch, where everything's just weird.
The Switch feels like what the Wii U should have been.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Well, the problem is, I think the thing that Nintendo is missing, and that Casual hit on, and which I think is what Nintendo latched onto, was, well, they're coming with all the next, they're all the big advancements in controller technology is coming from Nintendo. Yeah, but they keep forgetting. People just want to sit there and play the game. They don't want to jump around. They don't want to have to look all around. They want to have to look down, look up, look down, look up. They don't want to have to jump up and move around and jump around. They want to sit there and enjoy the game. What's that?
I said VR.
Oh, well, that's another thing to me. VR is going to fizzle out just like it always had. It's come out how many times in the past? virtual reality units, and they always fizzled out because people just want to sit there and enjoy the game. I could see it possibly having a little bit more future because of the PlayStation one where you can just sit there and it's just VR, but you sit there and enjoy it still,
Yeah, I don't want to have to use an entire room for gaming unless it's a really like advanced VR, like holodeck or something.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I do believe they're actually working on something like that.
I hope so.
I would love that, but then again, I also I like the controller. The just sitting there and interacting with the game via the controller. I don't. I think VR is great, but I don't want to VR all the time. You know what I mean? I don't want that to be the next level of gaming. I still want a TV screen and a controller.
That's exactly it. That's actually, I'm kind of nervous for the way gaming is going, because I'm worried that that's going to be the big thing that, is always, how do I, that every game console has to be this now kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Have you guys seen the O-Roma?
The what?
It's,
No.
It's I can't tell if it's a joke or not. I'm hoping it is a joke, but it's like an addition to the VR headset in which it lets you smell things, and it seemed to be.
Whoa! I looked up the smell of virtual reality sex.
Yeah, porn stuff.
Just sounds
What?
horrible.
Yeah, this seems like a joke to me. Do you think it is?
I want to say it's a joke, dude.
Yeah,
I want to say it's a joke. I don't see, because they've been talking about this for years. They've been wanting to do this in gaming where they you walk into a room, you walk into a bar and you get the whiff of cigar smoke.
But every time it's been a joke.
Exactly.
Resident Evil would smell terrible.
Oh God. Can you imagine playing Resident Evil 7, going through the bottom of the house where all the sewage is, and it's just that rake of...
See, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, like, Portal would smell bad.
Yep.
Oh,
Like,
it's real.
The main... Okay, not the main levels. Those would smell clean, if anything at all. But once you got into the bowels of the level design areas where you're...
Oh, so you're talking about, like, Portal 2.
Well... Portal and Portal 2, because once you get past
second half,
the second half, once you've learned how the controls work, then the game really begins, and it's in the dark, rusted bowels with all the whatever sewage, toxic water.
Ugh. Guys,
Stacy.
the smell-o-rama is real. It's look at camsoda.com. They have O-Roma. It's in pre-order right now. You can pre-order it for $100, and you get
Stacy.
30 cents. What?
World of Warcraft.
Oh God! What would the trolls smell like? Is my question.
That's what I'm thinking, or even the orcs.
'Cause
I would avoid the Lion's Pride Inn.
oh God!
Oh God, yes.
I main a troll priest.
Would you be able to deal with your smell?
I don't think so. Either that or you smell like weed because they're supposed to be Jamaicans.
Oh,
Yeah.
what? We're missing the obvious one. The entire undead race and their
Oh no!
Oh, walking under city, just vomit everywhere.
What about that green sewage there, just as you're crossing the bridge into the front of the Undercity?
Oh God!
I'm just imagining people vomiting in their masks.
My next thing is, imagine the smell of the fell.
Oh Jesus! So here, guys, for that O-Rama, excuse me, they have an official app coming out soon. You could choose your scent: private parts, body odor, fragrance, panties.
Gotta get them panties in.
Now,
Would
the question
private
is, do you
parts
have-
and panties go together, though?
Now the question is, do you have the choice of used or unused?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Joking.
If they're unused, what's the point?
Nintendo, listen to me, please. If you, by chance, for some reason, are listening to us right now, I'm begging of you. I know you're going, but the next wave of controller is O-Roma. Don't Please don't.
Don't worry. It won't come with the system. It'll be an add-on attachment.
But you have to buy it to play the game, or else the game won't work.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Can you just imagine like so many peripheries with this? Like, so you've got like an entire bodysuit.
Oh, VR porn to the max.
Like a flashlight and a butt plug attachment.
I just thought of another game that would smell absolutely disgusting. Metro.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oof. Not just the body odor alone in Metro.
Right? Because they're all cramped into the subway systems? Oh, God. Can you imagine? What were they called? The beans. What were those beans called? Oh, shit.
Beans?
I can't think of it for the life of me, what they were called.
I just thought of another game that should be obvious. The Binding of Isaac.
Oh, God. Imagine Mom's
Stacy's
foot
favorite
alone.
game.
Mom's foot alone, dude. Oh, God. And
Playing as Blue Baby with the poop.
Oh, God. Oh, jeez. That's crazy. It's kind of like Arthas last night. Guys, Arthas is my dog, in case anybody's wondering. He's half boxer, half lab. Or maybe half pit, half lab. We haven't quite decided. We're not sure. We've never seen the mom and dad, but
half demon, half lab.
We know lab for sure, but then we look at the head, and they told us boxer, but then we looked at the head, we're like, oh my God, pit. But anyway, me and Clarks were driving, and we're just we're like, okay, cool, we're gonna stop off at the store. And it's not rare, it's very rare for me to actually leave the house, but I was like, I'm gonna check out the store because there's nobody here. It's very dead, and I've always wanted to check out what the store was like. So I went there. I'm like, oh cool, let's get back in the car. We open up the door, and that's when the smell hits you of the shit. And I was like, oh God, Arthas, that's terrible. So I open up the back door to look, and there's turds in my front seat. There's turds on the car seat for Miles. There's turds in the middle seat. There's turds on his side. There's liquid shit sprayed on the back of the seat, on the bags, on the bread bags. And all I could go is, why do you hate me so much, dog?
My question is, how long were you guys gone for?
About 20 minutes at most.
Holy shit.
He just got out, went to the bathroom before we did this, too. That's the worst part. It was everywhere. So that's what I imagine fighting, what is the turd? The turd boss. I fought enough times I should remember their names. But level 1 turd boss. What was it?
It's not the Great Mighty Pooh.
The Great Mighty Pooh. Jesus.
Is it Dingleberry?
Dingleberry? Maybe. Probably Dingle. Yeah, it's probably Dingle. Yeah, Dingle. Imagine fighting Dingle with the smell of the aroma. Just, oh God, I'll cry on it quicker.
It makes me wonder who has to test these things to make sure that they smell like what they're actually supposed to smell like.
I know, right? I was thinking the same thing. Like, for instance, the those jelly beans that taste like everything from Harry Potter.
Oh, the
Bertie Blott's every flavor beans.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you talking about these right here?
Jelly Belly makes those, like the officially licensed, and they have to test them to make sure they taste like whatever. First of all, I feel sorry for the people that are tasting them just in the first place.
Yeah.
But they have to know what they're tasting.
They have to use reference.
The thing, yeah. What? No.
Oh God.
So, when you ask how do you know what smells it is? So I'm looking at the aroma, the panties. Do you have to take a big whiff of the scent thing of the mask, the nose mask, smell something to clear your nose and then bury your face right into panties or into a cunt and go, yep, smells like a cunt. And what kind of cunt? Are we talking rotten cunt? Are we talking fresh cunt out of the shower? Are we talking summer's eve cunt?
I was about to say, are there different levels, like 1 day's old panties, 1 week's old panties.
Just go to a seafood market.
Yeah.
Guys, can we possibly kick Rad out of this? Oh my god!
Yeah.
I hate you so much right now. Because as soon as I go to make a tuna sandwich, oh Jesus, Rad!
You just set it for different levels from tuna can to the bottom of the ocean.
I'm gonna get a hold of Clorox or Pink and tell them to label the tuna can.
I hate you so much. So Undead sent a message in chat, and I think you should have said it yourself. You brought up a great game for the Smellorama. Assuming the Oroma. What would it be?
Fallout.
The Fallout universe with the ghouls? Oh, God.
Or even those
game,
death claws.
oh, fuck you.
I think the ghouls might not be that bad because it's not like the undead where they're rotting away. They're just like so old they're falling apart.
Oh, yeah.
I think the worse than them would be the raiders.
I was about to say, well, I'm thinking because in the game they describe them so vividly as like, you know, like you hear people say, oh, the ghouls smell. The ghouls smell like rot. Or when you go to, not Undercity, the Underworld, they talk about the smell, the pure reek of Underworld.
I have to wonder what super mutants smell like.
Oh, God.
Can't be good.
It's got to be just shit.
Just straight BO.
Just pure BO and just foul ass.
Smell like a jock's locker room.
Has anyone played the original Fallout?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
The Master's Lair.
Oh, dear God. Because he was just a pile of just gunk.
He was just nasty flesh and cybernetic parts and
He couldn't
toxic
move.
waste. Ugh.
Oh, yeah, because he couldn't move, correct? It's been a long time since I played it, but I remember him not
He
being
was
able
like
to
a
move.
melted face over a TV.
Yeah, okay, so I was right
Yeah,
about that.
something like that.
Oh, God, you're going to make me want to play that game again now.
I just thought of another game that probably would be impossible for them to do, but I'd like to see them do. Borderlands and Borderlands 2.
No, God.
What?
Was it Timmy Three Nut or whatever his name was?
I was thinking about the aesthetic for Borderlands now that you said it. Okay, so Borderlands has that cartoon aesthetic. It's all
Watercolor,
extremely in your face and flashy.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you meet a boss, they do those splash
Cutscenes.
page cutscene things. So, do you think they would enhance the smells?
Oh, yeah. Oh, because think about the Three Nut guy. I can't remember his name, but the Three Nut guy off the first one. Could you imagine fighting him, but the smell, the aroma would kick in and just you would just get like potent, because we all know, all of us are men here, or at least identify as men. I don't know. I'm not going to guess what's on your undercarriage, but we all identify as men. So all of us we can at least assume that all of us know that nut smell when you've been out working or you've been underneath the hot lights or something. You've been sweating like crazy. At the end of the day, you go to jump in the shower, you pull the pants off, and you get hit by that just rotten nut smell.
Yup.
Pure rotten nut smell. That would be intensified 3 to 10-fold when it came to Johnny Three Nut. I'm just calling him Johnny Three Nut because I can't remember his actual name.
Here, let me look it up.
All right, thank you.
It had to do with like fingers or toes, and then it added the thing about he also has 3 balls.
Because, this guy wasn't terrifying enough being, a big guy. He had 3 nuts. Oh, gee, what am I doing? Okay, there we go. I'm trying to type, my keyboard's like, no, you're not. I kept on hitting F11 by accident. I'm like, it's getting big. What the hell's going on?
Are you talking about Nine Toes?
Not Nine Toes. Maybe. I don't know. I remember that it said
I think that might be it. Yeah, it was his name was like Nine Toes, and then in the subtitle down below it said he also has 3 balls.
Yeah, and like you can
for no reason.
Exactly. You can. I think you could actually see it in the boss fight, couldn't you? I could have swore you could see it in the boss fight. Yep, that's it. 9 Toes. Yep, you're absolutely right. Yeah, and then they have the safety first in front of his crotch. Yep, that's right. Okay, yep.
I've got a picture to show you guys. It'd probably be best to leave it off, explaining it to them.
No. You pique my interest like that, and you expect me not to explain to people what this is? Please, let me see this. What a god damn it! All right, so we all remember the biblical picture of it. It's man. Wasn't it Jesus or was it just man? It was man touching fingers with God.
God and man.
Yeah, touching fingers, and it shows God, man sitting there naked, and God's with his like little overrobe reaching out and touching. They have 9 toes sitting there with his nuts hanging out, and you see 3 balls just hanging out. God damn it!
Look at his
And
nipples.
God giving the safety first sign to him.
Yeah.
Just, dear God, put this on.
Oh God, I hate you all so much.
Okay, I'll delete that photo because that's very lewd.
Thank you, you son of a bitch. All right, guys. And for our honorary first podcast, I would say we turned into pure children and went running around with ADD, but I think we had a lot of fun.
Did you expect any less?
No, I didn't.
I mean, we do have you and Rob
I-
here, so
I would call it success.
I would call this podcast success. I know I had a lot of fun making it. I hope y'all had. I'm going to have a blast listening to it. Casual, Robbie, Undead, Rad, would you guys want to come back and do this again sometime?
absolutely.
Sure.
How?
I am fully erect.
All right.
Oh, Robbie.
Game on. Would next week be good for you guys?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
That would be fantastic. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in for the initial. Can we stick with Nerdorama?
Sure.
Sure.
Ladies and
That's
gentlemen,
like what
unless
Undead said.
okay.
No, Stacy, name it Nerd Aroma.
Oh God.
Sorry, name this episode Nerd Aroma.
That's exactly what this episode's being called. Oh shit! I guess that is a thing. Hold on. It's a YouTube channel. It's got 200
Yeah, I think it
views.
was.
We're good. We're good. I don't
What
think.
did Undead say at the beginning? Like, oh god, I don't remember.
Oh, nerdogasm.
Yeah, that's it.
Nerdogasm. Jesus God. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in for the initial episode of Nerdorama. I had a blast. You have been amazing. Casual, Rad, Robbie, Undead, thank you so much for swinging in and doing this with me, man.
We swear it only gets better from here.
We
Yeah.
promise
Maybe.
we'll be less ADD-like and running around like chickens with their heads cut off, and we'll actually have solid subjects next week. We promise.
And try to
Ooh,
stay
shiny.
on subject.
Take care, everybody. We love you.
Alright.
Bye-bye.